And welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our show brought to you by Safety Systems. Football season is here, and that means many of you are saying right now, man, I wish I had a better setup to watch games. Safety Systems have been helping families put together and create top-notch entertainment rooms for more than 15 years, and they'll do it at a budget you can afford. Safety Systems. Give VFL J.J. Surlis a call this week. All right, back with our 4 VFLs. What other show brings you this many guys? Sterling Hinton, Daniel Hood, Will Overstreet, David Ligon. We discussed all the injuries at linebacker earlier. We showed you what it's looking like. You know, McDowell, Jumper, Batuli, maybe is the way they spring this thing. If you go by their 2 deep, that's what you're looking at if you go with a 4-3. Last year we went into the season and we said, okay, you've got Reeves-Maybin and you've got Kirkland and you've got question marks behind that. Both those guys got hurt. And you saw that, yes, it was question marks behind that. This year, year 5, and again, I understand that. Every now and then guys will graduate, somebody transfers, somebody gets hurt. You're not killing it at every position every year. Doesn't happen. But now we're right back at year 5 and we're saying, okay, well, Darren Kirkland's proven. And now he's gone and we're back to question marks. So my question, guys, why are we sitting here in years 4 and 5 talking about what I perceive, and you guys can argue with me, as a lack of depth at linebacker? Whoever wants it can jump in.
Well, I think one of the big things is how this coaching staff's philosophy is of recruiting and getting guys into different positions. I mean, if we look at the linebackers, I believe only McDowell is a guy that didn't start off as a linebacker from the day he was being recruited. Previously, you know, with Fulmer and some other coaches and a lot of the coaches around the league, what they do is recruit really good athletes at, for instance, the safety position, the guy that's fast, a little bit bigger guy, and they move him down the line, basically put more weight on him, but you know he can run and play, and now you've got a guy that's a more athletic linebacker than you would have if you just recruited a linebacker. I'm not sure why that, you know, you would have thought after last year, this position, you don't have enough athleticism, you don't have enough speed, you need to make an improvement there. Why you wouldn't have looked at other positions, whether it's a defensive end that can take a step back or it's a safety that can take a step forward, why you wouldn't have mixed more guys into this play, because you had to see this coming that we're still light there. We still need some better athletes in that position, especially in the passing game when people start trying to match up big, really athletic guys on our linebackers. I'm not sure what's the thought behind it right now.
Go ahead, Dave.
Well, I was going to say, I agree with Will. I think that philosophy has worked out great for a lot of coaches and a lot of players. But I think another thing is, you know, when you start like this linebacker position, or maybe a couple years before is the defensive line position, you get so lean in your recruiting classes on numbers, you're trying to fill a need immediately, and you neglect some of those other positions. Maybe you've got to, wow, we've got to fill 4 spots on the defensive line. We're good at safety or in the secondary right now. Well, go ahead and take a guy. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I feel like it puts so much emphasis on that. All of a sudden, you've started building a problem later on down the road in some other positions because you focused on the immediate need, which is an unfortunate situation. I think if you go back years, a product of just turnover and attrition.
And what I want to do is echo some things Will and Dave said. You know, you got a guy who was probably one of the greatest linebackers you ever had here at UT. Al Wilson started at safety, went to Will linebacker, the Sam linebacker, ended up at middle where he made his name and became a first-round draft choice. Then we started doing recruiting of these leading state rushers at running back and had them play linebacker. Dominique Stevenson, Ed Westmoreland. Then you get a guy who's supposed to be a receiver, Ray Knock Thompson, who ended up being who he is. All I'm saying is we've got athletes out there. We've got a Jakob Johnson who's played linebacker, tight end, running back, kickoff, punt. So we've got guys that can fill some holes. We've got to get guys more reps at the position to make the position stable.
I'm going to go a little different. You know, I don't think we're thin at all based upon when you look at the numbers. I mean, you look at Tennessee's depth chart, they got 10 guys. You look at Alabama, who's got 4 positions, they got 10 guys. If you go through the rosters of Alabama, Tennessee, South Carolina, Florida, Michigan, they're all within 13 to 15 based upon how many walk-ons you're counting as linebackers and things like that. I think when you look at where the game is now, you know, you're going to recruit 3 to 4 guys a year. You look at Alabama, that's what they got. You look at Tennessee, they've recruited and got 3 guys last year, 2 the year before, 3 the year before that. I don't see a problem with it. I think the problem you're seeing is you've still got these injuries coming up, and Tennessee's prepping for where the league's moving. I mean, you need to have your nickel guys. You need to have Barry that's able to step down in order to help in, and so you got to plan for a passing offense when really your teams you're going to play that require great linebacker play is going to be Georgia Tech, it's going to be Alabama, and a lot of these pro-style teams, which you don't play a lot of anymore.
My only problem
Quickly,
is,
Will, I'll let you finish.
Yeah, it's just that you don't see a lot of guys moving from their positions. So that means when I recruit a linebacker and I recruit 2 a year or 3 a year, I've got to hit. Otherwise, my linebacker core is going to be bad for a long time. If you're trying to figure out how to take an athlete that may not be the best guy at this position, but he could be a better here, it helps you a lot to be able to do. And you don't have to be perfect on recruiting one position all the time.
All right. Guys, thank you very much. I appreciate it. When we come back, we're going to have some quick slants, real quick questions about Shy Tuttle, Rock Gullickson, Brent Samaglia, Jones' biggest game. All that next. Come on back on the Sports Source.